called frauds by God and the synagogue of Satan in the Bible. Yes, the same people who bombed and killed 28,000 innocent women and children. The same people who funded the transatlantic slave trade and were majority of the slave owner themselves. Oh, you didn't know that, did you? Well, yes, it's true. Sources such as Jews and Negro slavery in the Old South and United States Jewry both state such a groundbreaking fact. The Bible even calls them the synagogue of Satan. In Revelation 2:9 and Revelation 3:9 says that God will make those who call themselves Jews but do lie worship before the feet of the real Jews, which are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Arthur Koestler, who was a Jewish man himself, actually wrote a book called The 13th Tribe, probing how the Ashkenazi actually came from Europe and are of Khazarian lineage, and converted to Judaism not from the ancient land of Israel. And Charles Wiseman wrote a book called Who is Esau Edom, and states that the Ashkenazi are descendants of Esau and not of Jacob. Romans 9:13 says that God hates Esau and loves Jacob. It says this both in the New and Old Testament. This would explain why they hide behind the name Jacob and refuse to accept their name Esau. This would explain why they have so many anti-hate organizations to prevent you from learning that they are Esau. Why? Because if God himself says he hates Esau and you're a follower of God, what's stopping you from doing the same?
All right, Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Kodash, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Lord willing, it's edifying to the elect. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstone who rule well, who are the leaders of all Israelites in these end times, showing us the correct way to salvation and breaking the lies of Christianity. And shalom to you, Akwaf, in order, meaning you Israelite sisters that are in order. Shalom to you, all right? And shalom to you Israelites teaching on the highways and hedges, giving up your body as a living sacrifice to bring out this gospel to the elect. Shalom for your service, and shalom to you brothers that look like these other nations, but your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, making you a Hebrew Israelite regardless of your appearance, because it ain't about color, it is about the chosen seed line, which can look like all races of people, okay? So therefore we're not the black Hebrew Israelites as people like to call us, we're just the Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible, which was scattered among all nations and look like all nations, all right? Shalom. Now, this lesson is an expose, okay, because, you know, a lot of people are starting to figure out that those fake JEWs living in our land are not the real JEWs, okay, but they are imposters, and it says it all throughout the Bible, okay, and this is just going to be a short one. I just want to put these compilation of, I think I got 3 clips that I want to play that, you know, I want to bring to your attention, and then just bring out a few precepts and close it out, all right? Now, because I'm literally about to rush off to the plantation, so I thought I'd just squeeze this in real quickly. But, all right, so the first precept I want to bring out is in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49 and verse 10. Yeah, I'll just read verse 10 and get to the point. It says, "But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not." So the Lord is saying here that he's made Esau bare, the so-called white man. The Edomites said the so-called white man, that Esau is Edom. All right, and the Lord is exposing them. Okay, and showing the world that, you know, they're not the JEWs of the Bible. They're Edomites. They're actually Amalekites, and Amalek was the grandson of Esau, okay? And that became a tribe of the Edomites, okay? And, you know, they're hiding themselves under Israelis or JEWs, but, you know, us in the know that, you know, they are the Edomites of the Bible, because the Bible said that he would make Esau bare and uncover his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. They've been trying to hide themselves under the name British, German, Russian, French, Israeli, and so on and so on. But they're all the same people. They're all the same biblical nation, okay, which is the Edomites. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people and the veil that is spread over all nations. Okay, so, you know, you got everybody has a veil over their face in these end days because, you know, of all the deception that's going on. You know, these people are the deceivers of the world. This is why we call them the devil that the Bible speaks of, because the word devil just simply means deceiver. Okay, so when we say that Esau is the devil, it just means he's the deceiver. He's deceived the whole world, but the Lord is destroying the face of the covering cast over all people through the way of the internet. Now people are making AI videos and sharing information, exposing these people, which is fulfillment of biblical prophecy. Okay, now I want to quickly jump to the book of Ezekiel chapter 36, because the Bible said that these people would prance around in our land and call themselves the real JEWs. It says in Ezekiel 36, starting at 1, also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord power, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. That's the Edomites, the fake JEWs. They stole our land, right? The ancient high places. It's in their possession. It says, therefore, prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen. And ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh, or of the Lord power. It says, thus saith the Lord power, to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys and to the desolate wastes and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. Idumea is the Greek term for the nation of Edom. Okay, they are heathen. And the Lord is speaking against them. It says, which have appointed my land, the land of Israel, into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Okay, and if you go to the book, this is this is what they done. They stole our land with despiteful minds, saying, aha, it's ours now, basically, you know. And the Lord ain't forgot about that. The Lord is getting ready to pay them back. The scriptures say, let the sin of their father or the sin of their mother be remembered with the Lord. Okay, so whatever they've done in the past, they have to pay for eventually. The Lord is they're basically building themselves up a tab, and the Lord is about to requires that tab to be paid soon, very soon. Okay, let's turn to the book of Zechariah chapter 9 and verse 6, and it says, and a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Ashdod is a city near the port, or in a port city, coastal city of Israel, near Tel Aviv. It says, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. So the point is that a bastard is dwelling in Ashdod. Okay, there are people that are cut off from the Lord because the Lord hates them. Just like in that clip that I played in the intro to this lesson, the Lord said he hates Esau. Okay, and I know a lot of you already know this precept, but we're going to quickly turn to it. 1 second, I think it's 9 and 13. Yeah. So this is Romans 9 and 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. They are a bastard dwelling in Ashdod right now. The Idumeans, which is the Greek term for the nation of Edom, just like I brought out in the book of Ezekiel chapter 36. All right. Now, Let's turn to the book of Luke, chapter 21. I'm going to wrap this up soon because I got to rush off to the plantation. But we're going to turn to Luke 21 and we're going to read 20 through 24. It says, "And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled." Okay, that's talking about during 70 AD when Jerusalem was besieged by the Romans, and we had to flee into the mountains. And the Lord is basically telling us beforehand that we should flee, okay? Because, you know, a lot of them didn't flee and fell by the edge of the sword. We fled into Africa, okay? It says in verse 23, "But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people." Okay, so that's, you know, the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD is speaking about. It says, "And they," this is the point right here, "and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations." We were scattered. It says, "And Jerusalem, the land, shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled." See, and we're in the time where the time of the Gentiles is being fulfilled, meaning, you know, the Lord is bringing them out of power. Okay, it's the end of their rulership. Okay, but as of now, while they're still ruling, they didn't give up that land peacefully and say, "Here, you can have your land back." Hell no, they ain't gonna say that. These people are evil and greedy and thieves. And you got Gentiles, natural Gentiles, which are them fake JEWs, them Amalekites dwelling in that land right now. Okay, you also got Ishmaelites in that land also. Okay, now when the real JEWs return to that land, okay, in the book of Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 24, no, 2 through 4, Salakia, not 24, right? It says here in Isaiah 2 and 2, it says, "And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it." So when the real JEWs return to that land, you know, everyone's gonna flow to it to learn the ways of the Lord. Okay, and the whole world is going to be governed from that land. It says in verse 3, "And many people shall go and say, Come, let us go to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways." Is everybody going there right now to learn about the Talmud? No. Okay, because that's what they teach. You know, they live according to the ways of the Talmud, which is satanic as hell. Okay, so this is all proving that the real JEWs are not in that land right now. Okay, that this prophecy right here has not been fulfilled. Those are fake JEWs living in that land, and they're evil as hell. Okay, and I got 2 more clips I want to play after this scripture that is going to expose the hell out of them, okay, and prove to you without shadow of a doubt that these people are imposters, and they are Edomites, and they are the wicked of the earth. The Bible says in the book of Job, chapter 9:24, that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and these people have their hand in everything when it comes to the school system, banking system, military, public education system, the hip-hop industry, Hollywood, the media. They control everything because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, just like the Bible says. So let's jump back to Isaiah 2 and start at 3 from the top again, and we'll close it out. It says, "And many people shall go and say, Come and let us go to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths." See, no one's seeking righteousness like that right now. It says, "For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem." See, they ain't spread in the Bible. All right, verse 4, it says, "And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks," meaning they're gonna stop making weapons of war and go back to inventing and agriculture and things of that nature. It says, "Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." And all we know right now is war. We're living in the beginning stages of the Third World War, okay, which the Bible calls the Third Woe. And when the real JEWs return to that land, we won't learn war anymore. Okay, everyone's gonna be it's gonna be peace on earth, and there ain't peace on earth right now because there's been nothing but war since they moved into that land. Okay, and if you don't know, now you know. All right, so I'm gonna close it out here. Lord willing, you were edified, and like I said, I'm gonna play these 2 clips and check them out, man. I came across them and I thought I'm gonna bring this out to edify the elect. All right, Lord willing, you're of the elect. All right, so on that note, I'm going to close it out. Give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash, Shalom.
Has our government been lying to us about our history regarding with people of darker skin color? And why does a certain state 6,000 miles away have such a grip on us? And how do these 2 topics relate? Lucky for us, I actually found something that can possibly help us. I stumbled upon a quote and it got me thinking. I'm going to remove the person that said it because I want to remove any biased opinions about this person. And so I quote, "America has God's jewelry. The Americans have the jewels of God. The Americans stolen God's precious jewels." "What do you mean, his precious jewels?" the soldier asked. Blank said, "America has stolen the Jews, the jewels of God." But listen to this. "His jewelry, the Negroes are the true Hebrews." What a foolish move and a direct challenge to God. They plan on moving these false white Jews into the state of Israel. But this next line really got me. Because the white Jews know that the Negroes are the real children of Israel, and to keep America secret, yep, you heard me, America secret, the Jews will blackmail America. Now the Jews that they're referring to are the white Jews. They will extort America. Their plan for world domination will not work if the Negroes know who they are. So just a recap of what this says. This man basically said back in the 1930s, 1940s, that there is a group of white people that are going to move into the Holy Land to pretend that they are the true chosen people of God. And the true children were sent over to America. By the way, this was taken out of this book right here. Is this possible? Is it possible that the Jews in the Holy Land aren't who they say they are? Could it be possible that that is exactly why in Revelations, Christ says, "I will make those of the synagogue of Satan who say they are Jews but are not"? So you mean to tell me that the reason why we bend the knee to a certain state isn't because of money, it's not because of oil, but it's something a lot deeper than that? Do you mean it's more spiritual? Just for clarification, we have a secret, America has a secret, that we don't want exposed. In order to keep it a secret, we are continuously getting blackmailed. We have to bend the knee, give in to whatever it is that they want in order to keep our secret from being exposed. I mean, given everything that's going on and everything we've heard, everything that's been exposed, all the truth that's being revealed, that sounds very possible. This is going to trigger people. Why? Because not only am I challenging the history, I'm also challenging who is controlling the narrative. Food for thought.
documentary that was entitled From Hebrews to Negroes. Information that actually came from Israel itself, or what was Israel, what was before Israel. It was really just Palestine before Israel became a nation. Look up Abraham Pollock. This is incredible. By the way, the thesis of that documentary is that these are not even the original Jews, that actually these are Khazars from a Turkic community. So there's this like Khazarian conspiracy theory, and they call this an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory to suggest that the people that are occupying Israel today are Khazarian Jews, are the Khazarians, are from like the kingdom of Khazaria, is an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. And this is what I mean. It's the tricks that they play. Where did this anti-Semitic conspiracy theory come from? It came from them. It came from somebody who said, I want to figure out who the Ashkenazis are. And he was more than qualified to do it as an anthropologist. Abraham Nahum Pollock was an Israeli historian, a professor at Tel Aviv University since its inception, professor of medieval history, and founder of the Department of Middle Eastern History. His main areas of research were Jewish history, Arab history, nations of Islam and Africa, and the history of the Khazars. Now scroll down, and again, I am doing this all live, so it might take a second here. But essentially, he publishes a book and says, aha, I've done it. My research is over. Actually, we are the Khazarians, and we are from a Turkic tribe. And they had these Turkic tribes, the Ishkenaz, the Ashkenaz, and that's who we actually are. I want to be clear. This book was published, the book called Khazaria, History of a Jewish Kingdom in Europe. And he states that the Khazars were the demographic foundation of the Jews who inhabited Eastern Europe. And this was such groundbreaking stuff that he did. Look at this. This is 1941. He says they then mass converted to Judaism. He was awarded. Tel Aviv University awarded him, thank you for doing this research. Again, this is before the modern state of Israel. And then guess what? He also, you can see there, he served in the IDF. So we're not going to call him anti-Semitic, are we? He served in the IDF through the formation of the state of Israel. So this guy gets awards from Tel Aviv University, and now he's serving in the IDF when they just kick out a bunch of Palestinians. And after they do this, they say, stop publishing his book because it doesn't help what we are trying to do. That's on the Wikipedia page. I want this to be shown that this is on the Wikipedia page. The rabbi said we should stop publishing this book because it doesn't help our argument that we're now making that we are the original Jews.